This map's Easter egg is so rotten, convoluted, and agonizingly long that even the final steps of the challenge are enough to shatter your sanity. Here, I'll show you. First things first is turning on the power, then embracing the rejuvenating air of New York City.
Wow, they really managed to capture the look.
After contracting a lung disease and beating up some of the homeless, we'll head over to the Black Cat Dojo to talk to our sensei, Pam Grier. After a brief conversation, she teaches us the secrets of Kung Fu by spiking my drink, which is great for us, but probably terrible for business. Now a Kung Fu master, it was time to get the scoop on this place from the mayor. After a couple of stops at some of the local residents' houses and fending off hippie protesters, the mayor gifted me with the key to the city's records. The only problem is that they were in Chinese. Confused and slightly manic from my deteriorating lung health, I took a couple of pot shots at the city's architecture in hopes of relieving some stress. The mayor didn't like that and tried to trespass me from all of New York City. But I know my laws, so I retaliated and then ripped his eyeball out of its socket. I showed my new novelty to Pam, and she decided to double down by telling me to get his brain next. Okay, I suppose we can mutilate him. With no time to waste, I went back to what I do best, vandalizing the famous infrastructure that makes New York itself, when I was suddenly interrupted by a ringing payphone deep in the subway. The caller, a Morse Code machine. The machine heard of my acts of vandalism, and albeit a bit demanding, gave me numbers to a poster somewhere in the city that it would also like me to vandalize. By this point, you can imagine I was pretty exhausted, and decided this would be a great time to call for help. My immediate thought was none other than Batman, but I'm not very good at arts and crafts, and also remembered I probably had 14 counts of criminal mischief stacked against me, so I went back to vandalism. This next step, I don't even know what kind of joke to make here. I mean, seriously, like, what the fuck are these symbols? How did anybody figure this out? After deciphering these symbols through the power of other people's hard work, I spent an egregious amount of time trying to build a word that would bring out the mayor once again. The word I got perfectly foreshadowed the outcome of this endeavor. I called upon the mayor once more to remind him of our unfinished business, then took his brain from his skull. I revisited Pam with yet another trophy to prove that I ain't no pussy-ass bitch, and she decided to go all in and tell me to get his heart next. Now, I don't know how much you can mutilate a person without them dying, but this is the Concrete Jungle Wet Dreams Tomato, and my wet dream tomato is to fuck this guy up. So after accepting the fact that my sensei is a borderline psychopath, I pressed on. With my mounting stress and collapsed lungs, I spent some time at the local strip club to blow off steam, and after my game malfunctioning, repairing part of the subway, fending off even more protesters, and getting jiggy at the disco, it was time to perform open heart surgery on my nemesis. Now that I had two of the most vital machines to run a human being and an eyeball, I questioned Pamela's motives for turning me into an organ dealer, to which I learned the mayor wasn't actually dead yet, and I needed to head to his office to finish the job. I accessed his office through a giant hole in the ground, and it was time to finally end this street beef with the Rat King. With Pam cheering me on from the sidelines, I used his organs against him. First was the brain. Turns out the people I've been fighting this whole time are actually zombies, and during the step, I just needed to let them feast on what they love best. With full tummies, I rained down hell on our beloved mayor. Next was the heart. I needed to dispatch zombies on top of this green goo spilling out on the sides of the arena. The trick is that if you stand on the goo too long, you yourself get hurt. And there is a time limit to complete this, which if you don't, you have to do it all over again. And as you can see, I fucking suck at this part. But my sensei, not wanting to see me lose, helped me to my feet to continue the good fight. After losing all my perks, I finally finished this step and fought the king of the city for the 100th time. Last but not least was the eye. Weak points in the city's foundations revealed themselves, and all I needed to do was vandalize them, which was also quite difficult now that I'm practically handicapped without my perks. But with the city's famous determination growing on me, I managed to complete this step. All that was left was to finally put an end to this beef, a battle between the strongest of New Yorkers. I gave this rat mayor all that I had left in me, and after a long fought and grueling battle, I fucking died. Yeah, I guess Pam sort of just gave up on me at this point and let me bleed out in this guy's home. Disappointment is a very light word to describe how I was feeling in this moment, and I was not going to let this guy show me up again. With my newfound motivation now being fueled by rage instead of fulfilling my dreams, I ran through this trash city and exploded this guy from the inside out. And after flipping off Pam for throwing my fucking run earlier, I invaded this guy's office and absolutely decimated him. I basically erased this guy from existence and rewarded myself with the key to the city. Now the mayor of this wonderful utopia and a ton of new responsibilities weighing down on me, it was time to repair all the damage I had done. And, I don't know, I guess pass some new bills or something. Oh, what the fuck?
Who is this right here?
This is Pam Grier.
This is Pam Grier, coffee.
Yeah, this is coffee, and this right here, this woman, like, oh man, this is gonna sound so weird, but when I first discovered what masturbation was, I used to jerk off to Pam Grier.